muscles, not the joints.
Welcome back to Natural Glam Bodybuilding, and today we're going to talk about what gives you the longer lasting pump, heavy weights or light weights? Mountain. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what gives you the better pump. Now, for me, I find, and I always advocate, mixing up the rep ranges, using heavy weights along with lighter weights. Maybe you separate these into different workouts. I find that's great because you give one muscle fiber a break while you're working the other muscle fiber. And that's why I structure that in my programs. The 2-day split programs specifically, I really structure that a lot because I'm doing a higher frequency. But there are people who respond better to heavy weights as opposed to lighter weights or vice versa. And because of this, they may need to adjust their frequency in order to work with that. But just to answer the question of what gives you the better pump straight up, I'd say heavy weights give you the better pump overall that lasts days longer than lighter weights, and it has something to do with recovery. I've found that the longer your muscles stay sore or a little bit tight, the more they have a tendency to fill up or to be in the recovery swollen process. Because when you do break down a muscle, there's a certain amount of inflammation involved in that, and then that blood flow is what we call a pump. So it only stands to reason that if you do more muscular damage to a muscle by working those fast twitch fibers, which have a greater tendency to tear down, and it's easier to tear them apart, it only makes sense that the pump and the recovery process is a longer process. Right? So instead of you recovering over 24 hours, perhaps it takes you 2 days or 3 days or 4 days or whatever, right? So that said, what I do is I'll do the heavy lifting, and then while I'm in the recovery process, I will do some lighter lifting. And sometimes I'll hit a different angle of attack just to be sure I'm giving that muscle a bit of a break, but at the same time, I'm still getting the benefit of that extra blood flow, and then I'm circulating it to different areas, maybe my weak points. So say I do flat bench, flat dumbbells, and then I may do a lighter workout days later with high inclines of just 70-pound dumbbells, which is light for me, but I may do that in order to facilitate more blood flow to that upper chest or to the shoulders, whatever it is I want to hit. heavy weights, for me, have a tendency to give a longer lasting pump. Does that mean they're more effective when it comes down to building muscle mass? And that is where I will say not necessarily. So just because something gives you a little bit of a longer lasting pump of some sort, meaning a fullness feeling, that doesn't always mean it's the most effective for muscle growth on its own, although it can be one variable that is indicating that it may be an effective thing. So diet also influences this, of course, as well. And some of you guys have mentioned in the comments where when you have higher carb meals and higher carb nutrition plans and stuff, you notice that your pumps are better. Well, that makes sense because glycogen plays a big role in the pump as well. But one thing I do look for is to mix those rep ranges up. Now, if you're a person that does heavy weights and it just destroys you and it doesn't seem to work at all and you just feel burned out and messed up all the time, your muscles seem to shrink, well then you may be more of a slow twitch dominant fiber type person. So even though I'm saying the fast twitch fiber thing will give you a better pump, longer lasting, it still might be a better idea for you to stick, for the most part, to medium to higher rep ranges, and then once in a while go into that heavy rep range parameter, such as 5 to 7 reps or whatever, just to mix things up. But for the most part, you may be better off sticking to the 15, 20 rep, 25 rep sort of scenario. And this is why you have to really pay attention to your own constitution. Now, how do you learn this? Well, you experiment. You find out what seems to work for you. You do the same diet, the same sleep, the same lifestyle choices, right? And then what you do is you train one way for a period of 3 weeks to 2 months and see how you feel. And then you train the other way 3 weeks to 2 months. Now, what most people do is they train a certain way for a couple days and then they just give it up right away because they panic because they always want to go back into the old system, the old way that they're used to training because they're so afraid of losing their results. This is the wrong attitude. You don't want to not try anything new because you're afraid of losing your results. This will stagnate you faster than anything else. And it's something that stagnated my progress when I was younger as well because I was too much of a stickler for my own rules that I thought were the absolute, right? So it is good for you to deviate from time to time in the way you think things are and try a new training technique. So yeah, overall though, I will say that the higher reps will give you a better pump in the workout, and the higher weight and the lower reps will give you a better pump outside of the workout. And by combining these two things together in the right mixture, maybe it's 80% light and 20% heavy for you, or maybe it's 60% light weights or medium weights and 40% heavy for you, whatever combination you come up with, but there's going to be a happy medium in there that's going to be perfect for you to maintain the pump in the gym and out of the gym, and therefore you are always mountainous. Okay? Pretty genius stuff. And remember, I'm doing live chats every Friday, so tune in for live chats around 4 p.m. Pacific time. So I hope this helps you out in your training. I hope this answers the chicken or the egg comment that was made down below based on what gives you the bigger pump. Thanks a lot for watching. If you need to get hold of me, just go to naturallandbodybuilding.com, and thanks to the Patreon supporters. Mountain.
Gracias.